Hmm. Okay. All right, that's done. Record to the cloud. All right, let's just get this on the road. There's the link. There's the link for this evening's class. That's the YouTube link. For those of you who want to share the YouTube link, you can share it there. All right, I'm just putting together a quick post, quick quote post. We're going to put together. All right, just 1 second. Okay, the class of SteelE is live. Zionist, you are on LinkedIn as well, right? Yes.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Okay. My computer is behaving inappropriately. Okay. 1, 2. All right. All right. Let me get this Zoom link. All right. So I made I just made a post. Zionist, you've been tagged on the post. So pleasant good evening to us in the class of SteelE and in our international community and those who are listening. This evening we have chosen to have a discussion on a number of key subjects that are facing us: relationship, servant leadership, and mentorship. And it's going to be a question and answer and comment class this evening. And we invite you to follow along with us. And if you are so inclined to share some of your thoughts on the share some of your thoughts in in the comment section on LinkedIn or on the Facebook page for the class of SteelE, you could share some of your comments. We're gonna open this evening by looking at relationship. A little bit of background for me in light of relationship is it has been challenging. Relationship is extremely difficult to manage, maintain, and this evening I'm going to have a discussion with Zionist Amaka Curry. Zionist is going to challenge me. She's going to challenge me, and I hope that I represent the men well. I hope I represent the men well this evening. Dr. Ewers and Dr. Charles are counting on me to represent the men well in this relationship aspect this evening. And I have my wife, who is joining with us this evening in the class, Her Excellency Jeannie Steele. She is there live this evening. So if I step out of line, I have two ladies that are going to challenge me. Zionist, pleasant good evening. Welcome to the class of SteelE this evening.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. And good evening to all the excellencies in the house. Yes. Relationship.
I'm ready.
Wow. A relationship is an interesting topic. It's a very it's the very string that holds humanity in bond together. It has been defined as a state of being connected either by blood or by marriage. However, there are also work relationships that are not necessarily connected by blood or by marriage. But this evening, I'm going to focus on relationship from the angle of male-female relationship as well as marriage. Personally, I have been through that journey, as I'm sure most of us have been through that journey, is going through that journey. And to some, it is pleasant. To some, it's not pleasant. And I'm not sure of anyone that I know that purposely embark on having a relationship for the fun of it, for the sake of it. It is a very delicate affair, one not to be taken lightly if one is not prepared for it. However, as with my own story, I was prepared for it. I took on board the training I got from my parents before I went into a relationship. I adopted all the framework that my parents gave to me in relationship. But at the end of it all, it still never worked. It makes me feel sad in regards to all the years that as a girl, my mom has, you know, concentrated her effort in bringing me up, like, like they're doing the royal family, in teaching me the rudiments of a marriage and a relationship, the do's and the don't, and why, if I follow the blueprint, things will work out well, etc. But it didn't. And I would say it failed. But like Dr. Anita Davids, she said, nothing fails. Maybe the process never worked. But since it takes two to tango, I'm still yet to understand where the process between myself and my former partner went wrong. What went wrong? What I did wrong? It's taken me many years to try to reflect. And in all the years it's taken me to reflect, I can see an additional dimension of maturity in my life. And sometimes I'm thinking, perhaps if I had the maturity that I had now, could the relationship have survived? I don't know. Life, when things go pear-shaped, there is always that if. What if? We spend all our time asking the question, if. And in the process, I don't know about other people, in the process, I've come to create a bubble for myself, a safety bubble. No relationship can come in. I don't get no hurt, and there'll be no more ifs and buts, blaming myself, not wanting to blame myself, messing around with my mind. So I create a bubble. But we know, as far as creation story is concerned, relationship is supposed to be between two people. In my own case, it's to be between myself and a man. So the idea of staying in this island bubble is good, but I felt like it's an illusion based on denial, illusion based on fear, illusion based on doubt. And no, I could stay in the bubble for as long as I want, but I know eventually something is going to pierce the bubble. So I would like to have that mental preparedness, not the emotional, mental preparedness for whatever life is going to throw at me. I deny the beauty of relationship once I remove myself from the circle of relationship. Somebody's joy and hope is going to be stagnated because I've taken myself out of that circle, that beautiful circle of life. So, Your Excellency, my question is, how can one get back in relationship without all the pessimistic overview of what could happen or what couldn't happen? How does one come out of one's shelf and start again? How the years I've spent in isolation, in my bubble, in my cozy fairyland world, It was good, but it wasn't reality. It's never going to be a reality because I go to parties, I see couples. Wherever I go, I see couples. So for the likes of me, how do we build back that broken strand of bridge that once took me across into the arms of a loving relationship? How do I build it up again and make it strong and have the confidence to walk on it, even if the ropes are very fine and thin? Thank you, Excellency.
Wow. So first thing, I want to acknowledge the person of His Royal Majesty Edwin Madu. Your Majesty, welcome to the class of SteelE this evening, and you're very welcome. It's very good to see you, and we're having open discussion this evening on a number of subjects. So, Your Majesty, you're welcome this evening. First thing, I greet you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Steele. Thank you, every one of us in the class of SteelE. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome, Your Majesty.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. You know, Zionist, I'm glad that you brought this question for your potion, and first let me um say to those who are watching us this evening, the purpose of this is Zionist and myself, we're starting a major series on marriage and relationships. And we will be discussing marriage and relationship at length. We're gonna get real. We're gonna be honest with you and transparent and share some things that might be unsettling and might be uncomfortable because individuals need to hear from persons who are being real. So the class of SteelE, we have a section that is going to be coming live on Facebook and on LinkedIn, specifically dealing with marriage and relationship, which will be headed by myself, Zionist, and First Lady, my wife, who is here, and and it will be very interesting for you to come and sit with us. I don't pull punches. I kind of keep it real, and this is what I will say. The illusion of relationship grandeur is based on sometimes the things and the ideas and the expectations that can't be qualified that we have when we go into a relationship. When we get involved with a person, it has a purpose. Are you involved for a long-term legacy, or are you involved for sexual satisfaction based on your clock is ticking? Are you involved because you want to have a family or financial stability? Are you involved because everybody else is involved and you want to be like everybody else? Why? Why are you involved? And then the person you chose. Why did you choose that person? Or why did that person choose you? And was the choosing something that was infallible? And what do I mean by infallible choosing? An infallible choosing is like my dad died and my wife and I are the best of friends, and I will never have somebody else to take to my dad because my dad is deceased, and I told my wife continually, darling, I can't carry somebody else to my father, so you're stuck with me until we get to heaven. So every conflict, every challenge, it's like another hurdle to get over, another hurdle. And here's something that I've discovered 4 wives later. Unfortunately, 4 wives later, here's something I've discovered. Relationship is, to be quite honest with you, Zionist, as you said, it's only two people. When it becomes three persons, somebody external, there's conflict. It really is. When it becomes a family that is a part of it, it's conflict. When it becomes the opinions of others, there is conflict. The most interesting thing that I will say about relationship is two people deciding, I want to spend the rest of my life with you and just get in a rocking chair with you when we get old together, just me and you. What does that mean? It means that there are going to be times we're going to be broke, possibly. It means there are times that we might be successfully financially. It means there are times that we might have really good sex. It means there are times that we might have crap sex. It means there are times that we might be the life of the party, and it means that there are times that we might be just bored to death of each other for a little bit. But what happens in that process? Is that the process that is defining if we're going to stay together, or is that the process that is defining if we're going to remain best friends? No, it is not. The remaining best friends is based on a decision that we made by coming together and saying or determining we'll be married and we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. That's it. I think personally, marriage is forever. Somebody might look and say, but why do you think marriage is forever? You're on your fourth wife. Well, I think my other three wives thought different. And because I wanted a family and I wanted a family in wedlock, it meant that I just had to go through some sacrifices and some learning and some changes. This is what I'll say to you, Zionists, and to every person who wants to have a real meaningful relationship. The first point, do I want to make that person happier than ever? That's the first point. Forget about yourself. Truthfully, and I'm being serious. I'm being really serious. Forget about your own happiness. Forget about what you want in light of you seeing this person giving you. Forget about it. If you really love that person and you're really satisfied that you can make this person happy, I have discovered that when you make somebody happy, they reciprocate. They really do. They really do. When you're honest and transparent with somebody, they reciprocate. If unfortunately you find somebody that is opposite to yourself in the regards of reciprocation and giving back what they receive, then you have a problem. And it's not a problem that I could fix. It's not a problem that you could fix by coming to me and talking to me. It's not. When I was going through one of my relationship challenges, marriage challenges, and I realized that one of my pastors refused to counsel me and to discuss with me because I was the person that wanted counsel. I was the person that wanted to fix the problem. How many of you know it takes two persons to fix a problem? It really does. And if you have somebody that doesn't want to fix a problem, it's not going to get fixed. My wife might be listening, and there are times that as a person, because of male or masculine ego, we wouldn't want to talk about some things with outsiders. We just don't want to as men. Some of us men, we don't want to do it because it seems like it undermines who we are as individuals. It seems that way. And then you have some ladies that they don't want their personal business to be going out there with a stranger or somebody else. So what is the whole dynamic of success? What really is success in a relationship? What really is it? It is you coming to a place of determining, I'm going to make this person happy. And you, by making this person happy, observe, does this person reciprocate? And I'm going to be very, very upfront and say, if somebody does not make you happy, but you do all in your power to make them happy, for those of you who are going to be offended by what I will say, please don't be offended. What I will say is that's not a relationship to be in. It really is not. It's not healthy. You see, When I got married the first time, I wanted to be married till death do us part. I wanted to just be, you know, that's it. Never wanted to change, never wanted to go through any ups and downs. I felt like you know, this is it. That's not it. Takes two persons. You see, one person sees what you're doing through their eyes. You see what you're doing through your thoughts and what you expect the outcome is going to be. But a lot of times, what you think you might be doing that is beautiful might not be to the other person. It's unfortunate. And if that person gives you the notion of, I'm not happy, I'm unhappy, and you keep trying to fix it and trying to fix it, and you realize you can't fix it, the best thing to do is allow that person to make the decision that they choose they want to take. But the reason why I was able to bounce back so quickly, Zionists and all of you who are listening, is because I lived in my relationships with integrity. I never cheated, never had somebody else, a third party involved. And I was trying my best. I was trying my hardest. I was praying and fasting and living and doing and trying. But one day I looked in the mirror and I hated who I was seeing because I was not me. And my companion chose to find happiness elsewhere. And I agreed with that person needs to be happy. Zionists, I don't think you're with anybody that you want to make them unhappy. I don't think none of us is with anybody we want to make unhappy. But a lot of you are in relationships that your partner is unhappy and you just pretend it doesn't exist. You just pretend that, you know, you'll get over it. You know, you're not going to get over it. The truth of the matter is you're not going to get over it. I'm going to tell you some things as a mentor, and I'm going to tell you some things as a real human being. And I don't want to offend you. I don't want to mess with your religious beliefs or perspectives, but I want to be real with you. Humans have needs. And when those needs are not met and they continue to get frustrated and overwhelmed, relationships break down irretrievably. And sometimes you're just in a relationship with a person waiting for you to die. I asked some of my Christian friends, I asked them, answer me a question. You're praying and fasting for this relationship, and your partner is praying and fasting for you to die so they can get out of it. Laugh with me if you find it humorous. And I asked them, who is God going to answer? Is God going to answer you because you're a better Christian? Is God going to answer her or him because they're a better Christian? Who is this God? Who is God going to answer? Whose prayer? Who deserves the answer to their prayer? Does the woman deserve to be in the abusive relationship because you are in a position that you don't want to be embarrassed if she leaves you? Or does the man deserve to be in the horrible relationship because he's there and you're not going to let go of him? Who deserves the punishment, the torture? Who? These are some hard questions that we're going to challenge you with. These are some hard concerns that are going to be raised because you want the truth. If you really want your relationship to work, you got to start being real. You got to start telling the truth. You got to find somebody you can be real with and tell them the truth, and they can tell you the truth. And you could cry together and laugh together. I say to individuals, I will never recommend you for marriage if you never had a quarrel. But why are we gonna want to have a quarrel? Because quarreling means you're engaging. Quarreling means that you have touched something that is sensitive and you guys need to deal with it together. And if you don't have a quarrel during your courtship, I promise you, when you get into a marriage, the first quarrel you get, you will not know how to deal with it and you will quit. Either you will clam up and get frozen, Or you will go and seek somebody to give you advice, and the advice they give you will compromise your decision, and you'll have problems. So, with that, I just want to break the ice with some of the things that Zionists and myself we're going to be teasing out in when we open the new year with our discussion on relationships and marriage and friendships and courting. I want to ask His Majesty for a quick comment in light of the discussion. Your Majesty, would you just give us a quick comment, Your Majesty? Your Majesty, you're on mute. Click on mute.
Amen.
Okay.
Can you hear me right?
I can hear you, Your Majesty. Good evening.
Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to follow up about relationship actually when it concerns marriage. Okay, and there is no other way we can discuss or deliberate on this except we define what marriage is. What is this institution? Who instituted this marriage? What are the guidelines from God concerning marriage? And why are we facing problems we're facing in marriage? So I would like to say, one, the Bible made us understand that God gave both a woman a rib of a man and made a woman. And he gave, and when this man saw this woman, he was so happy. So they lived happily. But then, somewhere along the line, something happened. They disobeyed God, and there was a new order. In that new order, God made a punishment for a woman and that for a man. And in God's words, he said that the desires of the woman would be upon the man. Hello?
I'm with you, Your Majesty. I'm with you.
Yeah, he said the desires of the woman will be upon the man. The man has to rule over the woman. So many marriages are really crumbling because of this. At times, your wife may be desiring things. It's not telling you. You're hoping that you as a man, you understand what to do. At the end of the day, you are not doing them. And she's becoming, somehow unhappy in the relationship because there is no communication. One, if there is communication, and if there is a better understanding of what marriage is, of what's the genuine intention of marriage, two different people coming together to say, yes, I do, they become one. First thing that has to keep marriage moving is communication. Everything should be communicated. A man should be a good listener to the wife. The wife desire, he should always let the man know. If we are following these steps, many marriages will not have crashed the way they are crashing. The marriages are crashing today because everybody has his own intention, his own desire. We are no longer even listening to the word of God. Then, what's God's intention of marriage? Some men are complaining, some women are complaining. In the same marriage, everybody wants happiness, but remember that you have to build that happiness. You have to contribute to that happiness. If I am a man and I'm marrying a woman, we are not communicating, we are not flowing for one reason or the other. There was a quarrel. Instead of us to sit down and say, oh, why did you do this? And I listened to why she did it. And then we try to iron it out. Everybody will understand. At least the first thing, why that thing happened. Then we'll try to take caution why it will not happen again. Or if it eventually happens again, we know how to deal with it. So we left a lot of things undone. This marriage issue and marriage discussion will take a long time. But I know that if we continue to handle it, at the end of the day, we all will be happy. No one is perfect. There's no perfect man. There's no perfect woman. And I come to understand in the length of days that I've lived on this earth that in this marriage, in this union, only one person holds it. Either is the husband that is calm or is the wife that is calm. So only one person takes up this responsibility. Endures all, move ahead, put the family together. It may be the man, it may be the woman, I don't know, whoever. But that is how it functions. But for us, anyone here believing or looking for a perfect man or a perfect husband in a relationship, no. I don't think it's in existence. I don't think it's in existence. Every marriage has their little troubles, their little quarrels, and the key point here, can we understand ourselves? Can we come to a table and discuss whatever this issue are? Then another thing in relationship is grudges, bearing grudges in mind overnight. The Bible equally warns us against that. Say, do not sleep over with your grudges, your anger. When it turns the next day, another reason, if you're making a diary, you add many other things to what you have had already yesterday. So it's not really good. We're supposed to be happily married. We're supposed to be together. Relationships supposed to flow, but we must be talking. I found out in most marriages, most that have been brought to me, relationship that I felt, I found out that more especially somebody is not talking. Somebody is not talking. Somebody is talking and someone is not listening. So these are the two things. And at the end of the day, someone say, I'm not happy here. If I'm not happy, what can I do? What should I remember here? But I came from a background, our traditional background as an Igbo. From my own family, my father would say, the day is giving a daughter to a man, that's the end. You are not coming back to our family again. It's not like it's pushing the person out. The word is trying to tell the daughter is you should learn how to bear it, live with a man, turn the man, make him what you want out of him, and then enjoy the happiness at the end of the day. It needs a lot of patience and diligence. So let me just stop here for today. I came a bit late, but I'm trying to. It's been a case that cases that I've been handling, marriage, relationship, happiness, and quarrel. Then that's why I made this little contribution. I thank you, Dr. Say. I'm trying to round up.
Thank you so very much, Your
Not rounded up.
Thank you so much, Your Majesty.
Yes.
We're actually just laying the foundation for some of the series that are going to be coming up in the class of SteelE. We're just laying the foundations for them, and be assured, Your Majesty, that we will be bringing you on the panel discussions when we are ready. With myself, Zionist, and First Lady Jeannie, and others who will sit on those panels. Zionist, I said quite a bit, and I know that this is not the place where we're going to break down all of those dynamics, but I hope that I have challenged you, Zionist, with my thoughts, just with my thoughts so far.
Yes. I think it's a very good arrangement because you are giving me a relationship perspective from a male point of view, and I'm hoping that as this discussion progresses in the format in which you've set it up, that we're going to have an equilibrium, a balanced viewpoint, a good balance between the male representation and female representation, so that everybody can either find the answer they're looking for or gain the wisdom that should guide them along the path of relationship. Thank you, Your Excellency.
You're welcome. We're going to have it structured properly and professionally because I think if you're going to do anything, do it properly and give individuals credible, relevant support from the beginning. Because remember, we can sometimes we look at a relationship and we pick it apart from the damaged areas, you know.
Mm.
But nobody can walk and look at a damaged vehicle unless you know what a Mercedes look like, a crash face Mercedes pushed in. You can't
Mm.
go and just start pulling out and shaping because if you don't know what a Mercedes was like in the first place, you
Mm.
will be trying to fix something that you just don't know how to. And I
Sure.
think when you set the right foundation for a marriage or relationship, you can build on that and go forward. So,
Yeah.
so Zionist, I look forward to these discussions with you and those who will be joining us very soon. How about you? Are you excited about the upcoming discussions, live and direct?
Absolutely, Your Excellency. Absolutely. That's my subject. That's my key strength, and yeah, my key strength area. And and the beauty of it is, as much as I'm one of the participants, I get to learn. You know, I get to learn the nitty gritty of relationship that should help me along the line when the grace of God enables that to happen again.
It will happen very soon. Don't worry. We're hoping for your eligible bachelor from some part of the planet will pick you up. Promise.
I say amen to that, Your Excellency.
First Lady Jeannie, are you going to be saying you're looking forward to this marriage, relationship, building, bonding discussions that we're having as well? First Lady Jeannie, are you there just to say hi to everybody and let them know you are fully equipped and prepared to tell the
Ah,
truth about your crazy husband?
um, I am looking forward to I'm looking forward to it. Uh, I guess there's a lot that I can share, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to sharing, and giving my perspective from a female point of view on what I have learned thus far.
So thus far, have I been okay? Not for the camera, for the truth. Have I been okay, or do I have some points that need hammering out?
Well, you already know we have some points that need hammering out, but they're not anything that I can throw you over a cliff for. So, so that's okay. And the other thing is that I recognize more that uh, men and women communicate differently. So when I say something, you hear something sometimes totally different to what I have said, and vice versa. So sometimes it takes some time, and I would encourage others that, to really check in with your partner to find out if you are really understood. Because it seems that guys sometimes hear something totally different than what was said. So that as well, communication is really important and really checking in to make sure that you are on the same page as often as possible. And don't just agree to disagree. I don't quite always agree with that statement, agreeing to disagree, because as I said, sometimes persons can hear something totally different than what was said. So you need to make sure that what was said was clearly understood. So it's important for couples to check in with each other to make sure you're on the same page. So yes, I am looking forward to, sharing and chatting with others about their relationships and sharing what I have learned so far.
So you're going to expose that I don't know the difference between cuddle and other things.
I suppose. There's nothing to expose. We'll be truthful and honest. It's what it is, and
But men cuddle different than women. We like to go the extra mile when it comes to cuddling.
Yes, yes, you do. But again, communication and checking in is like making sure that you're on the same page with the cuddling.
Guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this marriage section that we're going to be doing because my wife is just like me. We see the teaching, learning aspect of life, and we want to share that with you. It's an exciting journey, and if you don't enjoy the journey, you think there's a destination, and there absolutely is no destination. A relationship is not a destination. A relationship is a journey. Thank you so very much, Zionist. Dr. Ewers, your question and your area of influence that we're going to be looking at in the class of Steve. Go ahead, Dr. Ewers.
Pleasant good evening, Your Excellency, Your Majesty in the house, and all the excellencies in the house. As you asked to make a comment on servants' leadership, it is a powerful force that occurs once a person discovers their hearts to serve, answer their calling to lead, and to summons their courage to engage. There's a different style of service leadership that individuals have. As our mentor, Michael SteelE, you have said many times, we can't be like Michael SteelE. You have said many times, you can't be like Donald Ewers. His Excellency is in the house. He has a different style of leadership. Mother Teresa had a different style of leadership. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, they all have different styles of leadership. But bringing it home on leadership, I'll use myself as example. My style of leadership and serving in the community is so different. I believe in serving the people who are down and out. I believe in going out into the byways and edges, going into the community, going on the streets and serve to the unfortunate ones. And that's I did 13 years on the street of London. Bringing in young people off the street, give them references, help them to find their feet, signpost them to jobs, signpost them to training and college, university, etc. My style is different. And so one of the things I would like to highlight with you, sir, Dr. Michael SteelE, is regarding your style, regarding being the senior mentor of the class of SteelE, where you said many times, you talk about your marriages that didn't work, but you also counteracted what did work. And so our style of leadership is not dwelling on the negative or dwelling on areas there where it's got minuses, but we dwell on the pluses. And so oftentimes people will criticize one because of your style of leadership. For example, I remember somebody asked me to go and facilitate a wedding in Germany. First time being to Stuttgart. I've never been to Stuttgart in Germany. I've never done a wedding before. However, because of servant leadership, I went, and it was a hallelujah time. I could go on with many things that I've done in life with serving people, asking what we would call the Macedonian call, to go out of my comfort zone. And sometimes when we are servant leaders, there are simple things in life. For example, whether you're coming from work, whether you're coming from a church, whether you're coming from a function, and you're driving in your car, a servant will offer a colleague, will offer a friend, will offer a stranger a lift in the car. Simple things. That's a servant's leadership. You be on the street and you see a homeless person begging for money. You don't turn your head and make your face up and maybe not smelling very nice. But as a servant, you're quick to take out even the last penny. You're quick to serve. I was in the supermarket today and a very elderly lady wants something on a shelf higher than herself. I could have walked past, but I saw the lady was stretching, very elderly lady. And I stretched forth and went up and hand over the vegetable that she was trying to get. And she smiled and said, thank you. So as a servant, whether you're in leadership or not, it's always good to serve. Somebody's crossing the road, an elderly man. You see the person is trying to cross the road. You go and hold he or she hand and cross the road. And so therefore, servant's leader is not just about money. It's not just about with power. It's the basic things of life that we serve in the community. You see in your family, or your children need support. You go out of your comfort zone and help and support them. Today, Michael SteelE, I saw you took your son to the library. You had so many things to do. But as a servant for your family, you went out of your comfort. I observed, I saw you. And I'm here all the way in Birmingham, you're in London, and I can stay here and seeing you're doing, as a father, bringing your son to the library. That's serving. You don't say, I'm too busy. You don't say, oh, he's got his mother there. You took Joshua to the library. That's serving. So I'm using the basic things of life. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to be the CEO. The basic things of life, and serve and give and continue serving. Help somebody cross the road. Help somebody to reach the destiny. Help somebody be a destiny helper or a helper in some form or way. No, that style, sir, I've seen you have many caps, or we would call it, the British would call it transferable skills in serving. And so when you open the door of serving and being a serving leader, it's also setting an example. It's also being as a mentor and leaving a legacy behind, because people will remember the smallest little thing that you do, serving. A friend of mine was moving house many years ago. I can't even remember. He said I was the only person who turned up to help him to move to the next property. And so serving, people will remember the least little thing. And so Dr. Michael SteelE, you asked the question as a servant leader, sir. My question is, does it make you a better person or a less person in serving? Does it make, for example, you've said it many times, you're a bishop but you don't have a particular church. Does it make you less than being a bishop? Does it make you less to be a person in not serving, or you don't get all the frills or all the things adding to it to say, well, I'm a bishop and I've got a congregation of 2,000 people. Does it make you less of a person when you don't have that servant's heart? So, and I think when you're a servant, with my experience, it humbles you. It makes you look at life different. You're serving from your heart. You have compassion. You've got listening skills. You've got empathy when you're a server and serving. And so your leadership style, people will want to hear you. People will want to come and listen to you. People would want to come to the class of SteelE because you got a servant's heart. Your heart is open. It's not just about Dr. Michael SteelE and Jenny SteelE and Joshua. You got a servant heart. So my question is, sir, does it make you less of a person having a servant heart, having a servant heart in leadership? What would you describe, how would you elaborate on, in your own terms, sir, having a servant heart? Hand over to you. Thank you.
I am laughing because I bet you a lot of you are expecting something totally different from me. So please don't be offended with me telling you the honest truth, because I am going to tell you the truth. And I know His Majesty has a smirk on his face because His Majesty knows me quite well. We spend a lot of time together. As a matter of fact, Your Majesty, I think that we're going to do church on Sunday again together. Church was absolutely fantastic on Sunday, and we will definitely be doing church together on Sunday, Your Majesty. Um, I I will answer it this way, in all honesty. My son, there's a part of me that says, my son, I pray God he does not have the same heart I have. And and I'm going to be very, very transparent. My life and my journey has been painful. It's been riddled with rejection. It's been riddled with disappointment. And I want you to listen to all of this and don't just take out that snapshot right there, because it's going somewhere what I'm trying to say. When you're a servant and you have a servant's heart, if you have an audience that is watching you, that is guiding you, that want the best for you, you will have challenges in the environment with a servant's heart, because we get abused. We get abused. Look at me. It's fine. Look at me. I'm talking to you. With a servant's heart, you get taken advantage of. You do. And you're none the wiser. As a matter of fact, some people call you stupid. Some people call you you're foolish, you're an idiot. Why would you allow this to happen over and over again? As a matter of fact, let me be quite upfront and honest with you. My marriages failed because of my servant's heart to some degree. Because I was helping individuals when I sometimes couldn't even help my own family or myself because of a servant's heart. So having a servant's heart is not, it's not like I'm going to say, please have a servant's heart and live. No, I would never ask somebody to walk in my shoes. Never. Not even my worst enemy. I wouldn't. Because my shoes are not beautiful. And my shoes hurt me. They burn me. And here's the interesting thing about a servant's heart. A servant's heart means that, of course, you have integrity, you have respect, you have honor, but the truth of the matter is, you're just a quick fix for everybody who has who are lacking the ability to facilitate what they want to get done. You're a quick fix. You're just the gopher because others don't want to go for it themselves. So you become the gopher. In Christendom, as I was raised as a Christian, I promise you, I would not allow my son to be mentored the way that I was mentored and the way that I was pushed as a servant's heart. Because there's a thin line between a servant heart and a slave. It's a very thin line. It's a very, very thin line. Who draws it? Who observes it? Who dictates that it's slavery and it's not free will servanthood? Who dictates that? I've done things because I needed to pay bills and put food on my table. Was it a servant heart? Or was it doing what you have to do to get things done? I've done things that I've cried water out of my eyes quietly when others are so proud of me. Oh, he's such a darling. He's such a nice young man. But I'm crying tears as a result of what it took for me to do what I had to do. But it was rewarded and imputed to me as humility. It was imputed to me as, oh, he's such a nice young man. What am I trying to say? Being a servant is not a practice or a pretense. It's just who you are. I was just in Bosnia, and one of my brothers, Brother Ahmed, was talking to me, and he was explaining to me the passion behind building for the next generation, the passion behind working for those who don't even see how hard you're working. A servant's heart. And he said, people ask him, but you're so successful. You don't need to do this. Why are you doing it? And the truth of the matter is, we really can't do otherwise. The heart that we have is exactly what you just said. It's a servant's heart. It's a heart that is broken when others are crying. It's a heart that is touched when others are wounded. It's a heart that wants to fix problems, and it's a heart that wants to give an answer. I do the class of SteelE. This is 2 years, and persons are in a position where there's no remuneration, and people says, are you mad? Why are you doing that for free? I'm not doing it for free because I don't need the money or because I can afford to do it. I'm doing it because I see the value to others that it is bringing, and the value that it is giving to others supersedes me killing somebody for few pennies. It's a servant's heart. But there are persons, I can assure you, that they would not give you 5 minutes of their time like this unless you're footing the bill or paying it. Who's paying for that? Who's gonna foot the bill? That's a different. Do I like having a servant heart? I love it. If I have to come back again, would I want to come back with this heart? Yes. But you sound like you're contradicting yourself. I'm not contradicting myself. The pain, sometimes the sorrow, keeps me humble. It stops me from pretending that I am who I'm not. It stops me from trying to think that I have reached when I haven't reached. It keeps my feet on the ground. You know, please don't take this the wrong way, but the best thing that happened to me was some of the losses that I've incurred in life. Because before my losses, I thought that I've got it made, and I got the solution, and I know how to do it, and I'm all there. Sometimes loss and hurt, disappointments can be of value to our character, our humility. I can tell you that now I'm older, so many doors open for me. So many people respect me. So many people honor me, because when they look at the track record of my life, they just see servanthood, they just see humility, they just see integrity, and those tenets that, to be quite honest, they make your journey longer, harder, painful, but they add value. The reason why His Excellency Dr. Ewers and I have chosen that particular subject is because His Excellency Dr. Ewers and myself, we're going to be having classes and discussions live on servanthood. We're gonna tell you and share with you, how do you deal with bosses that take you for granted, take advantage of you? Learn the lesson. Go and earn your salary. Be the best you that you can be. Graduate from that job. Don't leave it because of feeling like a slave or mediocre or not valued. Graduate from it because your character was molded that you could be a servant and it doesn't offend you. That you could do something that you don't have to do, but you do it out of humility and out of dignity and respect and honor. Having a servant's heart is one of the most beautiful, beautiful places to be in your own personal space. Because you learn not to take people for granted. You know what it feels like to be abused, so you don't abuse others. You know what it feels like to be wounded, so you don't wound others. It serves you well. Your Majesty, you're a great ruler. You have so many. Your Majesty, please give us your take on servant rulership, servant leadership, because Your Majesty, you are like that, and that's why you're my best friend, because you're just like that, Your Majesty. And that's why I love and appreciate you. Your Majesty, what is your take on the servant leadership?
Okay. Good evening once again, the class of Your Excellencies. Dr. SteelE, I didn't get your question, please.
What is your take on servant leadership? You have, I look at you personally, and the reason why you and I are so close is because you operate with servant leadership. You lead by example, and what is your take on it? What is it? Does it feel like you're, I don't know, taken advantage of? Because Your Majesty, in as much as you are a servant and a leader, it's so different. Your Majesty, please.
Okay. I got it. Now I got what you're saying. When you a servant leader means you can go all out to help others. You can all out to, show others how to do it. You are the number one. People learn from you how to do it. You lead by example. And for you to do it, you must have what I call a communal heart. You must have such a compassion when you look at people, when you see them. So when you are doing this, your compassion, that compassionate heart will take you extraordinary. You don't, it humbles you. You don't take that position. I'm His Royal Majesty. Then no. You don't recognize others. It's not that way. It's not that way. It's the other way around. I do what I do because one, it's a grace from God, that made me to be whom I am, then gave me a character that's quite different from most people I see on the same position. So whoever that has such a compassionate heart, you will, I'm a great believer too. I said that Christ taught us how to lead. He's our role model when it comes to servant leadership. I was making a joke with you, if you remember, 3 days ago. There was something I told you. Can you remember, Your Excellency?
Your Majesty, you tell me so many things, and we talk about so
No,
many things. Which one are you
we are talking
referring
about,
to?
just on this case of servant leadership. Before we enter the church, I stopped. I was telling you, I said, look, I see from my own imagination of whom Jesus Christ is, that even when they came to arrest him, they could not differentiate him.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember I said it?
I remember, Your Majesty, when you were talking that you said that they couldn't differentiate who he was because he
Yes.
was amongst them. He was entangled with them. It was as if
Yes.
he was one of them.
Yes. He did not make a stool out of what he's for. To show I am the leader, I am the... No. He's always with them. They eat together, they move together, he do things, he go. At times, the Bible reckons he moves, even he goes to meet with people that ordinarily men will not meet with. So that's what servant leadership is all about. I don't think it's anything more. But we need grace, We need grace of God to stand for the strength to go in an extraordinary way, to treat people's problem before you even remember that you have such a problem. Then the moment you hear of other people, you rush and get it done because you want people to say, if you didn't do it, you'll be hot. You'll be hurting inside, as if it becomes a burden. You put people's interest ahead of yours. But for me, that is the way I say it, and that is the way I understood, and that is exactly the drive, my motto in life, and that's the way I operate, and that is the way I live. Anybody that knows me will tell you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for your submission, Your Majesty.
Thank you.
You know, I'm humbled by the team we have in the class of SteelE, in our leadership. I'm really humbled by the amazing individuals that we have. I'm also very humbled because all of us here, the reason why we're here is because we want to give back. We've had some good experiences and bad experiences and horrible experiences, and we want to give back. We want to help you. We want to help others. And I hope that when we put these discussions, we're going to put them live and they'll be available for you. We're not charging for it. I'm not interested in, wow, this could be a great financial door. It could be, but it could also be a great opportunity for those who don't have access to the finances to engage the teaching. They can receive it and they can become better. Some persons are on the verge of becoming bitter because of relationships. Marriages are going pear-shaped. Families are torn apart. Who's gonna talk and share some really deep, pertinent truths with individuals to help them? We also have persons that are in jobs and employment and they're going through processes even in ministries and churches or in mosques or in communities and they feel enslaved. They don't understand the difference between servanthood and slavery. I think if I had to define the difference between a servant and a slave, I think a servant is somebody that is not interested in being enslaved. I'll say that again. A servant is somebody whose slavery doesn't matter to. Because guess what? Guess what? In life, we're always going to be either the positive word or the negative word. Either the positive word, we're servants and good, honorable servants, or we're slaves, where we fight and we grind our teeth, we get angry, but if we want to pay our bills, we don't have a choice. So you're a slave. If you want to pay your mortgage and you're with a horrible boss that gives you on kind treatment and he's mean to you, but you want to pay your mortgage and you want to send to school your kids and you coming up with tears in your eyes, you're a slave, you're not a servant. But when you go and you know that I just want to make this company better. My boss is a really nice man. This company is a nice company to work for. These are nice people to work with. I have some individuals that I'm a part of teams. I am a part of teams. And I am so proud to be a part of some of the teams that I'm a part of. I don't feel like a slave. I don't feel taken advantage of. Why? Because the servant heart that is in me comes out. It's not about the money you get. It's about the satisfaction you get from seeing the growth, the progress, and the success. So join us for those discussions, me and His Excellency Dr. Ewers and the others on the servant heart and the slave. We'll be talking about those things at length. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency Dr. Ewers, for that this evening. Dr. Charles Oyenichi, you are welcome. Your turn, Dr. Charles. What is your subject content that we will be getting heated debates about in the coming year to come? This year is going to be a fantastic year. 2022 is going to be exciting. Welcome, Dr. Charles.
Sure, sir. Good evening, Your Excellencies,
Good
Dr.
evening.
Michael Steele, and everybody in the house. I want to say something, and I might be asking around 2 to 3 questions because there is something I discovered. I hope I'm permitted to start from a poetic point of view. Let's just see a one-eyed person assumes a leadership, and some of the subjects are blind, and some of the subjects have to eyes. There is tendency, in order to handle the subject, that the leader will try what he could do in order not to be embarrassed by the knowledge and the wisdom of the people that have two eyes. He will try to bring them down to the level of the blind, so that he that has one eye will be able to manage them. Dr. Michael SteelE, I bless God for your leadership quality and your mental development. I might not ask this question to affect you personally, but I want to dig out from the wealth of your knowledge in order to affect the whole world, that people will understand this subject clearly. Because I want to talk about self-development. Sir, I have seen, most especially in the rulership of Africa, the reason why that Africa is backwards is because the wrong people are in power. That is the one-eyed person or an illiterate rising to rule and lord over intellectuals. So what we have to do is to bring down and erase your brain so that you will be able to do it. So, sir, what I want to ask, number one question, remember, I said I could ask 2 to 3. So number one question is, do you think that lack of self-development in a leader will affect his leadership quality? I think we take this question one by one. I come again. Do you think that lack of self-development in a leader will affect his leadership quality? Definitely negatively.
You know, Dr. Charles, one of the things about Nigerians that I really, really love is you guys get so intellectually stimulated in your discussions and debates, and you challenge us. I absolutely love sitting with the professors, my mentors from Nigeria. I truly do. And it's because they're so deep and profound. And they tackle things at the source rather than around the fringes. Dr. Charles, you made, while you were asking your question, you brought a smile to my face, because I actually was taught to drive by a one-eyed man. A one-eyed man taught me to drive, Stephen Harris in Barbados. And Stephen has a marble eye. And it was funny for me because when I was having conversations with Stephen, sometimes I just used to tease him and stand up on the side where he can't see me and just keep backing into this. And it used to be funny for me because his ability to see on that side is, he doesn't have an eye there. But it never stopped him from being one of the greatest instructors that ever taught to somebody to drive. He was phenomenal. He was amazing. Why did I share that particular point? You see, Dr. Charles, I am looking for the leaders of Africa to endorse the class of SteelE and me. So I have to watch what I say carefully.
It's all right.
because they're going to be listening, but I'm going to answer you.
You really need to apply wisdom.
So I'm going to answer you. I will answer you, though, because it's worthy of an answer. You know, power is interesting. Power is very interesting. The class of SteelE is going to be handed over to Joshua, my son. It doesn't matter if he goes to university or he doesn't. It belongs to him. It's gonna be like his right, really, because he's my son, and and it belongs to him. There's some dynamics of our political systems that create unhealthy challenges for us as a people. They're individuals who get into office not because they really want to, not because they're qualified, not because they're capable or competent, but because sometimes of those that are pushing them, because those that are pushing them think that they are better suited to run the country through their servant leaders. You see, I've discovered this. Donald Trump, Obama, all the great leaders you could think about, with all seriousness, all of them are servants. And when you take that oath of office, to be quite honest with you, you discover you are a servant. You really discover it. You see, before a lot of them get into these offices, their shoulders are square. They think they're bosses. They think they're authorities. They think they're going into an office with a perception. A lot of them, 95% of them. And then when they get into office, they discover, I fool you. You're not the leader. Come here, let me show you who the boss is. Let's have a private meeting. And then they go and have these private meetings that gives them a little more knowledge, a little more insight. Who really has the power? Who really makes the decisions? And then some of them do this. And then there's already a place where you can do nothing. You can either free fall, or you can try your best to the best of your ability with what you said you were going to do. I'm going to answer your question because I also want to educate those that are looking at their leaders through uneducated and unenlightened eyes, thinking that their leaders are liars and fake, and their leaders are trying to make them look bad, or just wanted to get into office and then do something different. The leaders do not have the power or the capacity in some dynamics of Africa to make a difference. They don't. Because the powers there be, if you get what I'm saying, the powers there be have other plans and other decisions that they can't do anything about. Now, on the point of getting into office without mentoring and guidance, you can't prepare yourself for that office, sir. It's not one of those. You can't. I really want to apologize to you if you thought I was going to give you another answer, but I'm going to be honest. You can't. From my knowledge of behind the scenes that I'm privy to based on the position that I'm in and the knowledge that I have, you can't prepare yourself for that office other than humility and respect. And the more humble you are, if I might be honest with you, the more humble you are, the more you destroy the desires of the people. Because your humility means that the decisions that they're going to use you to fulfill are really not really in the interest of the people, but they're in the interest of the shareholders. And let's leave that shareholders word for another subject because it's a very deep one. But there are shareholders that are not interested in population density. Please ask your other question and don't trouble me anymore at this level, if you don't mind.
Thank you, sir. You know, one thing about you is that you really know that I can put some troubles, but with humbleness, if you want to get a boot, trouble your Oga. So let me come. The second question is, what do you think that a leader needs to do or how to comport himself in order to command followership? What do you think a leader needs to do, or how will he comport himself in order to command followership?
Okay.
If you will allow me to chip in one biblical something, you say, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So what is it that this leader, being a shepherd, need to do so that the sheep will hear his or her voice very well and follow him or her?
So this is my my submission, and I was gonna say humble, but I was thinking, why are you saying humble? You're 50 years old. You could say what you have to say. It's your opinion. It's just your opinion. One of the things that I have discovered, every leader is a follower. Let's keep it real. Every leader is a follower. And I'm gonna use a scenario. Let's say let's use me for example. I'm 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 leading the class of SteelE. But what have I done that is unique to the class of SteelE? What have I really done as a leader? Have you noticed I'm not the only teacher?
Yeah.
Because everybody
You're
has
flexible. Yeah, you're flexible.
everybody has a voice, everybody has an opinion, and the class of steel is not just about my opinion. I might be the strongest opinion because I'm the leader, I'm the head, and I'm the chief mentor, if we use that term. And kings and presidents and great leaders um, seek my counsel or my opinion or my thoughts. But one of the most important thing that you can do as a leader is meet the needs of those that are around you. That's one of the most important things you can do. I think a governmental leader or a political leader that knows that the agenda might be this, but if he really wants to be popular, he needs to create an environment where he builds a respectable relationship with those above him, that he can appeal to them for support for those under him. You see, if you don't create an environment where you support those that are under you, then you're not going to be somebody that is well looked out for or looked after. Interestingly, look at Jesus. If we should use the Christian, if we're going to use the Christian context, what did Jesus do all the time? He prayed for the Father to do things for those who were under him. That's what he did. So so he continually interceded on the behalf of those that are under him or under his leadership. And I'm using that context of the Christian perspective. So we as leaders must always be in a position where we seek above us, if it is our bosses, our directors, our board of directors, whatever the staff needs to make the staff's life easier, more comfortable. Look at your village. If you're a governor, how could you be a governor and those that you're governing hate you because there's no water in your village? There's the burden of getting food is difficult. What is your governance doing? You're sitting in a lofty position, but you're not appealing to the resources that have been given to you so that it can be allocated to meet the needs and to service those things that are necessary for your followers to say, he's a good leader and I'm going to back him. He has my vote next time. In Barbados, we have an amazing prime minister in Barbados who's looking at, if we're now becoming a presidency in Barbados. Honorable Mayor Amor Motley. She is a lady to the core when it comes to the people. She knows the people. She knows the needs of the people. She knows what the people want. The people love her because she meets their needs. She puts food on their tables. She opens doors for them. In as much as the administration might be having challenges and difficulties, she still has a level of popularity because she meets the needs of the locals. And she will always have their support, their protection, and their love. And the nations around the world will follow her example. Why? Because she is a leader. Whatever anybody thinks about it, she is. And I think that that's one of the things that will help us to be greater, respected, loved, and get another term in office. Meet the needs.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. You really did a wonderful justice to that. And you really took me by surprise because I am so much overwhelmed. And I got everything you have said in a nutshell. That what makes a leader command followership is that he must convince the people by his actions that their interests, he has the interest of the led at heart, and he works hard to meet the people's need. I think, sir, in these two sentences, you have said it all. Then if I will ask the last question, don't you think that leadership by example in the area of character development will still go a long way to leave a legacy even after the leader has left office? Because I discovered that one of the problems we have is that so many of our leaders has no proper character development. And they manifest what we call lack of strength of character. The ability to pursue things to the logical conclusion. What do you have to say about that?
I think moral character and some leadership abilities, it's personal. It is personal. You know, I cannot, I'm a very hard person when it comes to some principles. But I'm this way because of the track that I've been on with my life, you know. I personally said that God tricked me when I became a reverend. He tricked me because, you know, then my wife left me for somebody else, you know. And I had to wrestle with, there are people that you're ministering to that respect you and honor you as a man of God. I had to wrestle with maintaining that professional character. That was a choice. And not becoming a run around guy that just goes out there and satisfies whatever other human needs that I might have. So I had to wrestle with the dynamics of my behavior because of recognizing where I was. A lot of leaders, a lot of leaders are focused on what they want to accomplish in 3 years or 4 years sometimes. And it's a free fall sometimes to stay out of poverty or to or to help a whole lot of people that need your help that you've made promises to. You see, when leaders get into office, the mouths to feed are more. And that's something a lot of people don't recognize. When in Nigeria there's over 150 million people. When somebody gets at the head of that food chain, there's so many mouths to feed, and there's so much expectation that is placed on a leader to deliver on, that it can be overwhelming. And if you don't have individuals that are going to show you a bigger picture, but what is that bigger picture? How do you define that bigger picture? You see, we're talking about leaders and in political office. Political office it's a term, it's a period, it's an opportunity that's gonna come to an end. You don't have more than 4 years and then a second term. So political leaders, they have a lot that they're wrestling with and grappling with in a short space of time. One, they have to learn the powers they have, because you see, when you're lobbying for office, you do not know the real power that you have. When you get into office, then you're now discovering the power that you have. And you're then having to learn the people that you can ask favors of and those you can't ask favors of. And it's a conundrum of frustration in the first 6 months or the first year or the first 2 years. So integrity is really, really difficult. Because remember, integrity has nothing to do with me alone. Integrity has to do with those that are expecting me to do or don't do something. And my being a servant leader determines if you who see what I did based on having to do was integrity or not. But then the other side of it is that I'm sworn to secrecy. So I can't tell you he made me do it. I can't go in and justify why I did what I did. So sometimes you see a leader that looks shady and dodgy and lacking in integrity, but the truth of the matter is it might not be him, it might be the office. It might be the directives of the office that he's sitting in that cause him to follow protocols that are not conducive to your ethos, or not satisfactory, or not palatable. I dare to say there are many leaders who fell asleep because they were tired of the decisions they would have to make. I said it professionally. They fell asleep.
Yeah.
It is better sometimes to go to sleep than to say who's keeping you awake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Good. So with that being said, let's look now at leaders like myself who have a choice, and yourself who have a choice. We need to have mentors. I have mentors. I have people that pull me over the coals, and some of them make me cry. I'm a big man. I'm 50 years old. How do they make you cry, Bishop? Of course they make me cry, because I'm a strong man. I'm a strong leader. But there are times that I might need to get tweaked and pruned and clipped. Minister Yours prunes me sometimes because he's my chief of protocol, and if I step out of protocol, Minister Yours calls me to account. And he does it so professionally, Bishop, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, come on, please let them know you go on, Your Excellency, go on. I see you smiling at me. How many times did I want to call down fire and you told me to pour water?
Your Excellency, sir, you're always bringing me in the hot chair. Yes, sir, this is what team spirit is about. And this is where we we support one another. We look at life in different angles. We look at it from a different eye. And uh, Dr. Michael SteelE, a man from Barbados, you're what we would call a little fire stick. You're fiery. Whenever you do anything, you're passionate. So I have to cool you down. I have to find ways and methods. And in my profession job, I have to use what we call the tiptoe approach. And so I tipped around the man of God, bring him around and just look at it at different, and eventually he'll come to terms and say, oh yes, I see what you mean. So yes, sir, that's what makes the team enrich, and that's what makes the team focus, and we're able to form with the class of SteelE. Yes, sir.
And I love it. You know, I love it. I call him at my weak moments, at my challenge moments, sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, and he keeps the class of SteelE alive, and Zionist and Doreen and all of the team, because it takes a team to run any shit. It takes a team. So I hope, Dr. Charles, that I have added some value to what you were inquiring.
Yeah, you did very well. But just 1 minute, I will put this last one and I'm done.
Dr. Charles, you're a typical Nigerian. You just go the extra mile and you just push all the boundaries.
Yeah. Okay, this last one, sir. I want you to conclude with this one. Is it better to react to criticism as a leader or to respond to criticism? You know, in office, there is no way, no matter how militarily you might be, there are some courageous people that can come and tell you, whether truth or false, say you are missing it. This thing you did is wrong, whether I was wrong or right. So which is the best way? To react to the criticism or to respond to it?
I always I always say always respond, never react. And here's and I want to define reacting and responding. Yeah. Reacting means it's a reaction. Sometimes an action comes, it hurts you. And reacting is giving back the hurt that you receive. It's kind of like bouncing it back to the next person. Give them back what they gave you. You hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you. You upset me, I'm gonna upset you. That's kind of my context of reacting. Responding for me is carefully analyzing where they're coming from. What is their background? What are they gonna get out if I react? Watch this. If I react, what is it going to give them? Because you see, the reason sometimes criticism comes is because criticism is seeking a reaction. That's what it's seeking. Criticism and anything negative is always seeking a reaction. Always. Because it is trying to dislodge you. It is trying to prove you wrong. It is trying to destabilize you. It is trying to discomfort you. It is trying to embarrass you. It is trying to make you ashamed. Anything negative, criticism sometimes, please bear with me, is coming to bring about those reactions. Unless, of course, it's constructive observation. Now, when you react, sometimes you give the person the satisfaction they were looking for when you react. So I
not hearing you well, Your Excellency.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay, can everybody?
Dr. Michael Steele is up. We're not hearing you, sir. Hello, Zionist, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Your Excellency, I can.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, he was wrapping up actually, so I don't know what, if we carry on or.
Yeah, you can go ahead because he's
Yes.
almost wrapping everything up.
Yeah, he was just wrapping up and for some reason it cut off. Is there any?
Yes, he's still trying. Just give him one moment. He's still trying to reconnect.
Lady Jenny, you
That's
can hear
good.
us. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. His Excellency is trying to get himself sorted.
Okay.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
We can hear you now, sir.
Okay. I'm not gonna react, I'm just gonna respond. So, you know, and that's interesting what just happened. The need for a reaction or a response, you know. Sometimes the frustrations of life cause us to want to react. They really do. They push us.
Yeah.
People, opinions, criticism, they push us. And one of the most challenging things to learn to do is how to respond. So my submission, Dr. Charles, to that question is always respond and do it from a vantage point of looking at the benefits. Some things you don't even need to respond or react to. Some things. Criticism for me, sometimes I let it die. Minister Ewers will tell you about me. We get criticism and we laugh together quietly, and then Minister Ewers will share with you, and then a couple weeks later, we see the outcome, and the outcome makes us laugh that we were quiet and we never reacted or responded. So it depends. But I always choose to respond professionally and remember who you are. And remember who's watching you, those that you can see and those that you can't see. Because at the end of the day, you are an ambassador. I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele. You've been listening to this live discussion on the class of steel. And I want to thank my guests and my hosts and my team this evening. I want to thank Georgina Zionist America Curry out of London, United Kingdom, for her take on relationships and what we were going to be dealing with relationships. Zionist, I want to thank you so very much for your submission this evening and your contributions.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's a subject that deserves more attention because it impacts upon everybody, down to the little child in the house. So thank you very much for giving a platform for this subject to be explored, to be discussed further. I look forward to more interaction on this subject, and I look forward to gaining the opinion, the perspective of others on this subject. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and all the excellencies in the house.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency Zana Samaka Curry.
Have a great day.
And thank you so much. God bless you.
I want to also extend thanks to the Chief of Protocol, His Excellency Dr. Donald.
No, just hold on, just let you know, so you probably stay. I'm sure they'll put Facebook, but just let you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
Bye, bye, bye.
Hello. It's good.
Hello.
Oh, it's cutting. He was saying something. And he cut off. Thank you for the compliments. Has he gone or is he there? Dr. SteelE, are you gone? We're having some problem with the connection tonight for some reason. Yes, it was a blessed evening, and all the topics was brought forward. We all can take.
Oh, 1 second.
Hello. I always say it's like a banquet. When we go to the banquet, we go with a plate.
Hold up 1 second.
We take out our food and we take what we want and leave the rest. So I always look at life in that when you come to serve session. Is your dad, Joshua, is your dad there? Hello? Joshua? Well, it's only 4 of us. Zion, it's only 4 of us is left. So I'm going to close because we keep cutting out.
Yeah.
Have a pleasant, Dr. Charles, a pleasant evening, sir. And we just have to close because his line keeps cutting out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the wisest thing to do at this moment.
Because it's about 9:15 now. So to all the excellence in the house, a pleasant good evening. Oh, he seems like he's back on. Hello? Dr. SteelE. I think I'm just going to close. I'm going to shut down. So a pleasant good evening to...
He's on, but he's muted.
He's muted. Does he know that?
I don't know. Something must have happened. But anyway, the class is reaches timing anyway. So I'm just going to say till we see each other. He didn't even... Lady Jenny, are you here? Is Dr. Defoe going to be on Friday? Hello? Any announcement?
Yes, hi. I have to speak with her. I'm not 100% certain because she's still in travels. She's still overseas attending a conference.
Okay.
She hasn't returned as yet, so I'm not sure what Friday will hold for us. I will speak to her, and we will know probably by tomorrow or early Friday what Friday will hold for us with regards to her giving us her time.
Yeah. Well, we have enough able people now to run the classes still. So if she can't, I'm sure you and Dr. SteelE will allocate or somebody to carry on for Friday.
Yes, I'm sure. Your Excellency, he's returning. Just one moment.
All right, classes. I think we're going to close class. My computer is acting up, and it's one of those moments where it's a little bit frustrating, but that's okay. Thank you guys so very much. I was just closing in thanks. I want to thank Dr. Charles. Dr. Charles, thank you so very much for your submission as well. I'm very grateful. You've challenged me, and to be quite honest, I'm actually going to be very much looking forward to us having these discussions and debates live when we're having our discussions, because you do throw a beautiful challenge.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
All right. Well, with that, everybody have yourself a fantastic evening. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday and on Saturday for our youth class of SteelE. And God's blessings on all of you. Please stay safe. And remember, you are the change that Africa, your country, your region needs. And the only way it's going to get it is if you show up and you share the information that is in you, your experiences, your expertise, and you let others know what your take on those things were, so that you can help them to make a determined choice in going in the right direction. Thank you so very much for being with us in the class of SteelE. Good evening and God bless.
God bless you all, Your Excellencies, and good night. I'm going to go sleep. Sleep in beauty.
Good night. God bless.
God bless
Good
you all.
night.
God
God
bless
bless
you.
you.
Yes, see you on Friday with God's grace.
Friday. Good night.
Yes. Bye.